I want to believe, dear students, having seen this, you should be able now to name the third structure there. Can you do that? Is it possible? Can you do that? Okay, I will still have to expose you to questions that will test your ability. Nevertheless, let us continue as I will show you more of these questions and also your classworks. So let us see the next structure there. The next structure is CH3, CH2, and C with a drop down of CH3, and up there we have Cl, which is chlorine. We have CH with a drop down of CH3, and then we have CH2 bracket 2, and lastly CH3. So just like we have seen before, you don't need to panic when you see something this way. I think we have seen that before. So let us proceed to expand that. So what this simply means is CH3, CH2, C, CH3, chlorine up there, CH, CH3, CH2, and another CH2 because there are 2 in bracket, and then CH3. So this is what it is. So having seen that, what will be our parent chain? Or how do we identify our parent chain? Identifying our parent chain, it is easy to see that the straight chain should just be our parent chain. And like before, there are also 7 carbon atoms here. Since there are 7 atoms here, this is chlorine as a side chain, methyl side chain, methyl side chain. And where do we come from in terms of numbering the parent chain? To number the parent chain, it is also wise, as we can see, to come from the left. So coming from the left, this is what? This will become 1. This is carbon 2. This will be carbon 3. Here is carbon 4, 5, 6, and 7. So looking at the structure above, it is just as exactly what we saw in the previous question, the previous structure there. So looking at it, coming from the left should be ideal. There is no need going to debate whether we should come from the right hand side, because if we are to come from the right hand side, automatically we are going to have our side chains falling under carbon 4 and also falling under carbon 5. So it is better to have it fall under carbon 3 and carbon 4. So we have our side chains there, chlorine and 2-methyl. Chlorine is starting with the letter C, so it is definitely going to come 4. So this is going to be 3-chloro, 3,4-dimethyl heptane. So this is straight to the point. There isn't any need for argument. This is actually straight to the point, and that is actually its name. So this is how to name hydrocarbons, no matter how complex it may look. Once you have followed the lesson critically, you have no challenge in naming hydrocarbons. So away from rule 5, we are now in rule 6. And rule 6 says, when 2 sets of numbering schemes are equal, the direction taken should be the direction that gives the larger side chain the lowest possible number. I take that again so we get to understand what it is really saying. When 2 sets of numbering schemes are equal, the direction taken should be the direction that gives the larger side chain the lowest possible number. So let us get to understand what this rule is saying. Now on the screen we have it that this is CH3, CH2, CH with a drop down, CH2 and CH3. We have CH, CH3, we have CH2, CH2, CH3. Now looking at the structure as given to us, what we should consider first, as we have always been doing, is the parent chain. Where will be our parent chain? Now taking a look at the structure, if we are to go with the rule of parent chain, we may choose to say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it means the straight chain can be our parent chain. Some other person may also choose to say, I want my chain to be from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So whichever direction we choose to go to getting our parent chain, there is no problem. But we should also remember that a rule says if we have different numbering schemes like this, you should pick the straight chain as the parent chain, just for simplicity. So it implies, therefore, we are going to be taking the straight chain as our parent chain for simplicity, even if though we can go the L shape and we'll still have 7. We are still having 7 carbon atoms as the longest chain. So, but for simplicity, we are taking the straight chain as our parent chain. So having seen our parent chain, it implies, therefore, that this is a side chain and this is also a side chain. So we have 2 side chains attached to that parent chain, and the parent chain are 7 carbon atoms. So the first side chain is CH2CH3. We have another side chain, CH3. So let's take a look at what the rule is saying. The rule says if we have different numbering schemes like this, we'll follow the side that gives the larger side chain the lowest possible number. Now taking a look at our parent chain, which has been numbered, if we are to go from the left hand side, we have ethyl staying at the position 3. This is ethyl staying at position 3. And methyl will be at position 4. This is methyl. Methyl will be at position 4. What about if we come from the right? If we choose to come from the right hand side, then it means that this will become carbon 1, this will become carbon 2, this will be carbon 3, this remains carbon 4, this will become carbon 5, this will become carbon 6, and this will become carbon 7. That is, if we choose to come from the right hand side. Now, coming from the right hand side, it means that methyl still remains at position 4. It still remains at position 4. But ethyl would be at position 5. So, the rule says if we have this type of numbering schemes, the side or the direction, the rule that should be taken should be the side that gives the larger side chain the lowest possible number. So between ethyl and methyl, it is clear that ethyl is the larger side chain. So it means we are going to come from the side that will give ethyl the lowest possible number. and that is coming from the left. So if we start numbering from the left-hand side, that automatically gives ethyl a lower number. That is to say, ethyl will fall under carbon 3 because it is a larger side chain compared to methyl, who is at position 4. Whether coming from the left or coming from the right, is still at position 4. So, having seen that, it implies therefore that the name of this compound will simply be 3-ethyl. Let's make that clearer. The name of that compound will be 3-ethyl 4-methyl heptane. That is the name of the compound. 3-ethyl 4-methyl heptane. Once again, dear students, recall that numbers should be separated with a comma. That is where you have numbers coming together. They should be separated with a comma. But numbers are separated from letters with a dash, with a single dash, not a double dash, please, with a single dash. That is a hyphen. Numbers should be separated from letters with a hyphen. So please, always remember that and don't do otherwise. So this is the name of that compound. Let us take a look at the next compound. So the next compound is CH3CH with a drop down of CH3, and then we have CH with another drop down of CH2CH3. We have CH with a drop down CH3, CH with another drop down CH3, and last of all we have CH3 again. So let us take a look at what we have and then proceed. Let us take a look at that and let's consider the rule. So we still go with our rule. So we have the compound as CH3, CH, CH3, CH, CH2, CH3, CH, CH3, CH3, CH3. Okay, so we have this as our compound. We have one more, CH3. So this is what we have as the next compound. Now let us take a look at how do we name this. Still going with our rules, if we have two sets of numbering schemes that are equal, the rule says we come from the side that will give the larger side chain the lowest possible number. So what will be our parent chain? Taking a look at the hydrocarbon chain, we can see from the structure that the straight chain gives us 6 carbon atoms. If we are to go with the straight chain, it gives us 6 carbon atoms. That is to say, if we are to label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, that is a straight chain, and that gives us 6 carbon atoms if we are to go with that. But if we choose also to go with a bend, beginning from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're also having the same numbering scheme, that is 6. So we can choose to simply go with the straight chain. So the straight chain is the longest continuous chain, and let us go with it. So looking at this, it tells us therefore that we have side chain 1, side chain 2, side chain 3, side chain 4. There are 4 side chains, and of these 4 side chains there are 3 methyl and 1 ethyl. side chains. So the rule says we are going to follow the side that will give the larger side chain the lowest possible number. And which side is it? Is it from the left-hand side or from the right-hand side? Do we start numbering? We have not numbered yet. It's just to make us, the numbering we did initially just to make us understand where to take as our parent chain. That is, are we going straight or do we choose to go curved? But we have decided to take the straight chain as our parent chain, and there are 6 carbon atoms there. We have not taken our count yet. So now we are about to take our count. Our counting now will be based on, should we go from the right-hand side or should we take our numbering from the left-hand side? According to the rule says we should do our numbering from the side that will give the larger side chain the lowest possible number. So let's see. If we are to come from the left-hand side, if we choose to come from the left-hand side, okay, let's make that to be better. Let's see this. Okay, now picking up a little. If we choose to come from the left-hand side, like the number is already there, this is ethyl, this is ethyl, this is methyl, this is another methyl, and this is the third methyl. So if we choose to come from the left-hand side, the first methyl falls under carbon 2, our ethyl falls under carbon 3. And then the second methyl and the third methyl falls under carbon 4 and carbon 5. But if we choose to come from the right-hand side, then it means we are going to have this as carbon 1, this as carbon 2, and here will be carbon 3, and this will be carbon 4. That is to say, ethyl will fall under carbon 4, and here we have carbon 5, and lastly carbon 6. So where do we come from? From the right or from the left? Which is proper, which is appropriate? The rule says we should come from the side, start our numbering from the side that will give the larger side chain the lowest possible number. And from the side chains we have, ethyl is the larger, or since there are more than 2, is the largest side chain. So the other side chains are methyl, methyl. Ethyl is the largest of these 4 side chains we have. So it means we are going to come from the left-hand side, which gives a lower number to ethyl, and that is 3. So from coming from the left, ethyl will be at position 3. But if we are to come from the right, ethyl will be at position 4, at carbon 4. So that will be wrong. Automatically, it makes the name of this compound to be, since we have our parent chain as hexane, and the largest side chain is ethyl, and ethyl falls under carbon 3, from coming from the left-hand side, this will be 3-ethyl. The first methyl is at carbon 2, so we have 2, comma. The second ethyl is at carbon 4, so we have 4, comma. The third methyl is at carbon 5, so we have 5. There are no more methyls, so hyphen trimethyl. So we can see all the side chains have been captured. 3-ethyl, 2,4,5-trimethyl. Then we're going to end with the name of the parent chain. And there are 6 carbon atoms there, so that is hexane. So this is the name of the compound. 3-ethyl, 2,4,5-trimethyl hexane. And that is the name of that compound. So this is how to simply name any hydrocarbon given to you. It is so simple and so easy, and I want to believe, dear students, that you are following it step by step of the way, and I believe it is becoming clearer and you're getting to understand how to name organic compounds. So let us proceed to the next rule.